The KZ EDC Pro. Yeah, those names are kind of crazy, but yeah, let's talk about it. Now, this is a $12 IEM that I've had in-house now for almost 2 weeks. I pretty much ordered this the second it got released, thinking I would make content about it, and then decided not to. And then I put up a poll on Facebook just asking you guys what I think you guys should do. If I find an IEM really not up to snuff, should I review it? Should I not review it? There's been a lot of drama and heat about people not reviewing stuff and being honest about that. And I mean, I guess I could talk about that, but suffice it to say, I do harshly review things poorly when I don't like them. And I'm going to try to review things when I can, just so it can be out there, so people can know what I don't like and what I do like. So there can be some control and some saying that, hey, this guy is not just a guy who loves everything. Because I don't. All right, enough of that nonsense out of the way. Let's talk about this $12 single dynamic driver from KZ. Now the shell. What can I say about the shell? It's $12. It's actually kind of impressive, to be honest. It's a smallish shell. It kind of has an angled nozzle, if you can kind of tell just the way that it's kind of angled in towards us right now. It's a little bit wider than the Magic 1. It has not my favorite little magic lip. Its nozzle does have a kind of little ring around it, so it's easy to keep ear tips on it. Again, it's a little bit wider and less narrow. It fits fine in ear. I don't really have any problems with it. I like the clear nature of this shell because you can kind of see it. Its nozzle is pretty small, so that's a good thing. And again, no wing, no any crazy lip. I mean, you know, it's $12, but the design of this IEM is done really, really well as far as I can tell. I like the metal faceplate at the front. You know, it says EDC Pro. I don't really have a problem with the design of this, especially considering the fact that it's $9. It is a flat 2-pin cable connector. So if you do have your normal KZ or your fancy KZ cables like I do, because I have 2 of them now, it will not fit this one. So yeah, there you go. These are the ear tips. Yeah, they're ear tips. Kind of boring. Be happy you get them. All right, and then the cable itself is, you know, right angled, Y slider, nothing too fancy. I mean, the ends, again, they are not your normal cable connections. The good thing about this, though, is that you can use pretty much any 2-pin cable you want with this IEM. So, boom. There you go. That's its accessories. Kind of blarg. So, how does the KZ EDC Pro sound? Okay, it's to put it in real simple terms, it's not terrible, but then when you actually listen to it, you're like, oh wow, yeah, it's terrible. It has like its driver quality doesn't sound like it's just astronomically amazing. It doesn't sound like an expensive IEM. Some people are saying, oh, it's the best IEM under 120, and I love the confidence and the cocky swagger of KZ and CCA and whoever else their brands are. But like, that doesn't, I mean, just because someone says that and a big reviewer says that doesn't mean it's good. So let's kind of talk about what this IEM is, because it's not bad, it's mid. But let's get into what this IEM is and kind of where it stands and how I feel about it in comparison to some other IEMs. Let's go. Okay, the KZ EDC Pro, it's a nice looking graph. It has a nice base shelf, it has a nice upper mids, has a nice decrease from 4 to 5K. I mean, if you want to compare this to other Harman IEMs, we can. Like, let's do it real quick, like the SimGots, dude. Like the Super Mix 4. You can tell there's a lot of similarities to the Super Mix 4, right? You can see a little bit more mid bass here, a little bit more sub bass and all. For the Super Mix 4, you know, and we look at the EM10, it's you know, it's kind of about that same sort of, you know, bass approach. It has a little bit more bass than those. I didn't particularly mind it or notice it. So there's kind of a slightly muddiness to it, but it's very ever so slight. The point I wanted to make is here in the upper mids. Here, let's go to here. There we go. Oh, I guess it's more like treble according to this. But this area, this 4 to 6K, it's all kind of right around the same. It all kind of pops up. So this is basically what you can call a Harman set, kind of a Harman shaped tuning. That doesn't sound as good as these IMs, but it's kind of in that same sort of area. Next one I want to show you from KZ, the KZ CRN KZX Pro. Way better. That IM, it's not bad, but it sounds a little worse. This one has a little bit more warmth, a little bit nicer bass, a little bit better upper mids. All around, I think the KZ EDX Pro is a little bit of a better IM than that. It's honestly not bad, but it's just not that great of an IM in comparison to other IMs. They're just a little bit more. And that's kind of my point that I'm trying to make. So, you know, you might be asking yourself, can you buy this on the Hangout? And the Hangout is Crin's new store, and these are all in Singaporean prices, but you know, this IM you cannot buy from the Hangout. There are some other IMs we're going to talk about from Crin today. Why? Because Crin does some pretty good neutral basic sets for a reasonable price. And so I want to give credit when credit's due. And I think the idea of the Hangout is pretty darn cool. Let's talk about some more IMs. All right, the next one, the KZX. Just total dumpster fire. I've had this IM for a really long time, and oh man, it's just weird. Comparison of what the stuff I listen to now and I listen to this, it sounds like an old gaming headset. It's just horrible. But you know, the EDC Pro, like I said, there's a lot of IMs that this one beats out, and the KZX is one of them. Next one, the Symphony. Symphony is like $70. It costs like 10 times. I don't know. Okay, like 6 times as much. But it's so much better. Just so much better. It has such a better tonality. The Symphony had some good things, ideas and good things going on with it, but it just wasn't executed, and so many more spikes. Just wasn't great. I mean, again, if you like that, go for it, but it's not my preferred tuning from KZ by any means. Another one, the KZ PR3 Pro. Again, good details and upper air and sparkle. I can see all this up here, but a little bit too much upper mids, a little bit too lean of a bass. Overall, a clean presentation with a lot of technicalities. If that's what you're going for, that might be a better thing than the KZ Pro. The KZ PR3, it really wasn't for me, but I could see how it could be for people as well. Next one I will look at, the $1,000 IEM. Okay, it's not. It's like 18 bucks. But I think the KZ EDC Pro is better than this. You'll notice this bass shelf is a little bit better. Its upper mids are a little bit more clean. It just has a better tonality overall than the Krilla. I didn't really like the Krilla, but for those that do like it, go for it. It's not bad. It's a fine set, and it's kind of one of those sets that if you get, you might want to end up giving it away, but you know, there you go. Now, back to Crin. What do I recommend that's pretty close to this price? I really like the 7Hz Critical 02. I think it's a solid set. Now, I do think fit and comfort on the KZ EDC Pro is better. The 7Hz Critical 02 has some pretty colors. Let's look at those on the Hangout, right? I mean, you have bronze, you have blue, you have clear, you know, it has kind of this garbagey cable, but you know, it's a solid set. It's only a few dollars more. This is in Singaporean dollars for you who are an American, so it's about like, I don't know, 140% more. It's usually like 25. All right, as we look at other ones, my recommendation, kind of my default recommendation, like my 3-star under 50 bucks right now, is the CCA Trio. I like it. It sounds like a budget Dusk. It just, you put it in ear and it's nice. Has dip switches. It fits good. It fits the fancy cables for the KZ cables it has. And it's just overall not a bad set. I mean, I probably wouldn't listen to it, but it's not bad. It's enjoyable. It's solid. Another one that's actually pretty good. A lot of people have given praise. The Keyfine Delchi, to me, I don't know. It's just one of those things. These have the exact same graph, and that's one of those things that like people are able to hit that Harman curve perfectly. But that doesn't always give us all the details we want about IEMs, and I know that's kind of memey, and you know it feels scammy when people say that, but graphs give us a lot of good information. And I'm not saying you need me, but sometimes you need a reviewer or you need yourself to be able to listen to an IEM to be able to tell you whether it's good or not. I mean, personally, I think both of these are solid IEMs with good tonality. But if you're looking for details, if you're looking for technicalities, you're going to hear like way more of them on the Keyfine Delchi than you will on the KZ EDC Pro. That's for darn sure. Oh, next one. The Singolo, the tiniest IEM in the world. One of my problems with the EDC Pro is, again, it has a little bit too much mid bass. But if you look at something like, my favorite in IEM. Okay, put the Annihilator on here. And you notice the Annihilator has basically the same bass shelf as the KZ EDC Pro. So I'm not opposed to that extra bass, but it kind of doesn't really have that same tonality that the EDC Pro does, and that's kind of its fault. But I just wanted to show that to you, that it has that exact same bass shelf from here to there. So it's not really that extra bass shelf is that bad, it's just that implementation of it's not that great. This kind of additional sort of tuck that the Singolo does, like, I don't know, it has really nice balance upper mids and air. The Singolo is a nice little set. It's actually packaged so poorly and it didn't sell very well that like it's actually sometimes you'll see it on sale for $40. And I think if you already have a 2-pin cable, or you're okay having the worst packaging experience next to a KZ, I mean the Singolo could be a really good option for you. I like the Singolo. It has really good dynamics, and it's a fun little set that doesn't sound completely dry and dead. So it is something to consider if you have the money to go a little bit higher. And guess what? The Singolo in black or blue is at the Hangout. All right, the KZ EDC Pro, it's not bad. It's worth, $12, maybe even less. It doesn't really sound good. It's one of those IEMs that, unless you really need a banger set and you can't afford something a little bit better, or you need a gift for somebody who wants to get a set of IEMs for really, really cheap and they're not very picky, they might just like the EDC Pro. I've given IEMs to friends that I'm like, okay, yeah, you can go for it. And they love it. They absolutely love it. And so like this IEM, I think for a gifting IEM could be really good. Has pretty good bass, decent mids, decent highs. Its imaging is not great, but it's also not terrible. What it lacks in is like resolution. There's like a hiss, as some kind of extra air that oh my gosh, it just sounds horrid. And it shouldn't, like IEMs should not sound that way. They shouldn't have this extra level of like, and that's how the EDC Pro sounds to me. It has a nice sense of dynamics and space around it for its price, but that extra layer of hiss really prevents it. Like its highs are just absolutely dead. Like this guitar plucks, strings, that resonance that sound should make don't exist in EDC Pro. And that's my big problem with it. So, if you need a cheap gaming IEM, maybe for your kids or for a spouse and they're not audiophiles and they don't care, this could be a really good set. If you're just really looking for something cheap, I think it's good for audiophiles that have stuff that we can recommend. I think, this is something you might want to go for. I guess I just wanted to close this out by saying be careful of the hypes. Be careful of KZ products sometimes. Like, again, this product is not terrible, but it doesn't sound like a $120 IEM that's 90% discount to $12. No, it sounds like a $12 IEM. It doesn't have great packaging. It doesn't have a really expansive tip selection. It's not very fun. It's a little bit utilitarian. It's kind of bland. I mean, its shell is kind of handsome and it is cozy in ear, and it does have some redeemable qualities. But again, if you don't need this IEM, don't buy it. It's not a sonic miracle that some people might have alluded to. Watch out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?